Hey everybody, Melissa here, the Unlikely Hiker. Hope everyone's doing good. Welcome, welcome. Today Ruby and I are out on an overnight hike and we are in Pharaoh Lake's wilderness and we just came up. Don't know if you can see it, that's Pharaoh Lake down there. This is a place that I really enjoy coming. This is the place that Ruby first started hiking when I got her. She was just a baby. But I have a bunch of new gear that has been given to me from various sources, and I'm going out on a quick overnight. Today is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And I'm going to test out some of this gear. Temperature today, high 60s. Tonight it's going to be into the mid to low 40s. Yay. And tomorrow I think it's going to be high temps of 70, something like that. So super reasonable temperatures. I'm gonna head over to lean-to number 3. I spent way too much time contemplating where to camp tonight for a lot of reasons. I'll get into that later, but I'm gonna see if anyone is in lean-to 3. I've tried to get there a few times and people are always in it. Usually like crowded, a lot of people. So if that's available, I'm gonna head over there. I will be staying in my tent though, so I need a lean-to that has camp spots next to it. And that one does fit that bill, so let's go. All right, come on, let's go. Okay, so we made it to lean-to number 3. And you'll notice there's like shit in here. But, so, every time I've come here, there's like jerks here, pardon my French. So this is like a self-inflating pad from like Amazon. And that's like some kind of tarp from Amazon. That's a blue tarp from Walmart. I don't think anyone's here because if they did, they would have left packs and all kinds of stuff. But people leave crap here all the time and then they come back and forth. It kind of drives me crazy. The first time I came here, must have been 11, 12 years ago, and these idiot kids had this massive tent set up in here. And my friend and I, we hiked over Pharaoh Mountain, which is that mountain right there. And this was a long time ago. I wasn't in the best of shape, and I think we ended up hiking in like 8 miles because I drove my car in the first couple of miles. If you have a high clearance vehicle, you can make it. But we hiked that, and we were exhausted. And we ended up sleeping. If you hike down there, there's a just, little area under the trees right next to the lake where you can get water. And we slept down there because those guys were complete assholes. You don't get to reserve the lean-to, so I don't think anybody is here. There is a functioning canoe down there. I probably won't be taking it out. It's pretty breezy, and I don't trust its seaworthiness, but yeah, you can kind of see why this is so popular. So this is Pharaoh Mountain. This view is directly west. So there should be a pretty spectacular sunset here tonight. So you can see why it's popular. And in addition, I'll walk you down here. So there's these rocks you can climb down. But if you come down this way, you've got this awesome little space to sit. It's not big enough for my tent, I don't think, but definitely could sit down here and watch the sunset. So yeah, so I'm gonna get a drink, so I'm super thirsty. And I'm gonna break out some of the new gear that I'm taking out on this hike. So I didn't really record much of the hike in today because I think I may have made a video of this area last year, perhaps. I don't really remember. I come here quite a bit. So it's kind of a woods walk, but it is very beautiful and it's relatively easy to hike in here, and there is a ton of camping, absolute ton of camping here. But the purpose of this trip wasn't necessarily to show the trail I was on, although I'll show you some highlights of a few cool things along the way. But it was just to try out some new stuff that I've acquired. Some of the stuff was given to me by companies, some of it was given to me by vendor reps, and some of it I have purchased. So I thought I would take it out and try it out and get out finally for an overnight. It's, what is this, September 2nd, Labor Day? This is the second overnight that I've been on this year, I think. So I don't know if you can hear the breeze, but there definitely is a breeze coming in from the west, and it's a little cool out, especially since I just sort of got here. I'm not sitting in what little sun there is, and yeah, windy. So the first thing that I wanted to show you was this really awesome blanket. This was given to me, this was just given to me at work. I'm assuming the Cascade Designs reps left it. It's the Thermarest Juno blanket, and this is really cool. It's a pretty small packable synthetic blanket. So this will be really good for Ruby, and it's some pretty colors. It's like a greenish brown on one side and this dark teal on the other. And it packs into its own pocket here. Check that out, nice and warm. So it's quite thin. I think it weighs about 13 or 14 ounces, so it's pretty lightweight. It has one snap where you can snap it like this and wear it around you. The material is very, very soft. This would be good for in the summertime. You know, it's getting hotter and hotter up here, which is crazy. Some of those summer overnights, assuming I finally get out on some next year, where you just need a little tiny something at night, not much of anything. My puffy blanket from Get Out Gear I absolutely love, and it's still in tremendous shape. But even that could be a little warm for some of those hot summer nights, and this one weighs a few ounces less, like 3 ounces less. And it's also kind of a nice lightweight blanket for Ruby, and it's washable. So that's also a bonus. And this also would be good for car camping. And when you pack it in on itself, it makes a little pillow as well. So this is pretty cool. I really like it. I'll put the specs up on the screen for you. So this is the first thing that we're trying out since I'm sitting here and it is a little chilly out, and I really don't want to put my puffy jacket on yet because it just seems premature. So this Platypus Bag, 1 liter bag, was another item that was given to me by one of the reps from Cascade Designs. This, I think that this is supposed to generally go with the quick draw filter, but they weren't giving those away, and I wasn't really interested in replacing my really old, tattered, yet still not leaking Katadyn Be Free. That's the original bag, which is probably about 5 years old, if not a little bit older. So I didn't think I was gonna like this or want to use it just as like something to carry water in, just some type of vessel. But what I really liked about this right off the bat was it stands so much better than these bottles when you're filling them. These tend to be a little tippy. This one just stood right there. pretty nice. It's pretty comfortable to hold. I'll have to check the weight on this. It feels very light. I don't know if it's lighter than the 1 liter Smart water bottle. But if you've got to carry something to add extra water, like just in case you have to do a longer water carry, this folds flat. It's pretty convenient. Yeah, I didn't think I would like this, but so far I am. So I've been hanging out here in the lean-to for a little while. It's getting a little closer to 5. It's about 4:30, 4:45. I didn't have a big breakfast and I kind of skipped lunch, so I'm definitely a little hungry. So I'm gonna start making dinner. And this is the next gear that is new to me. This one I actually bought, and it's the Fire Maple stove. I didn't bring the box with me. It's the one that's becoming a little popular with the stove. This is actually going to be a good time to test this. So this stove has a little flux capacitor. I like flux capacitor, we'll call it that. It's got the little flux ring on the bottom with the spaces, and then the stove fits right inside. And it has a little lip on here, so it's a little bit better in the wind, I'm assuming, and it does have a piezo igniter. So I think that it's gonna be a good test for this since it's so windy out. So let's get this stove lit and we'll see. I was gonna get the MSR pocket rocket, but I like the idea of this, having that flux ring there. So you get the benefits of a jet boil, really without the weight. I will put the model and the weights up on the screen, right here. There you go. And yeah, I was gonna get the, like I said, I was gonna get the pocket rocket and decided to give this a try because I definitely needed another cook pot. So one cool thing I did notice at home when I first put this together is, you know, when you put the stove on your canister, you start losing some gas. This is designed a little bit differently. It's much larger down here, and it's got, I don't know, some kind of magic O-ring or something. When you put it on, you just hear like the tiniest puff of gas, and it just screws into place, and that's it. So that's pretty cool. Dinner tonight is Northside cheesy cheddar with bacon bits and chicken. The recipe calls for 16 ounces of water. I am going to put a little less because I don't really cook it so much as I let it soak. So it's easy to find how much water you need to put in though, because you do have ounces and milliliters on here, which is a bonus. I think that those were, I think they're little loons. They look really small. They must have been born this year. I don't know a ton about them. The shape of their head is correct, and they keep diving. I guess I'll find out later if I hear them. That was fast. That was really fast. I couldn't believe it. It might even be faster than my MSR wind burner. Maybe. I might have to test that. So anyway, I brought it back up to a boil, and you have some level of simmer control on here, but I'm gonna let this soak, and then I'll catch you when I'm ready to eat. This cooked perfectly. The ability to turn the stove on and off and just light it so easy with the piezo igniter was clutch. in getting this to cook perfectly without having to simmer it long term. I just brought it back to a boil a couple more times. No water left, and the noodles were perfect. Bacon is awesome, and she smells it. You can't have any. You had salmon for dinner. She's spoiled. Dinner was awesome. Still too much food though. I probably could have done half of that. Even though I think the Knorr pasta sides are a smaller portion, still too much. But so it's just cleaning up from dinner. Ruby helped pre-rinse my pot. Thanks. And I'm just drying it so I can put everything away. And that brings me to another cool item that I got. I got this also from the Cascade Designs rep. It's a pack towel. They call this the hand size. I don't know exactly how big it is, but he gave it to me. I was talking to him about the pack towel story from Colorado a few years back when I always tell people that a pack towel could have saved my life that day because it gave me the ability to get all the water quickly out of my tent after I set it up in that storm. So this is pretty cool. It will never, never, never replace my ultralight pack towel that saved my life in Colorado. But this is a pretty cool size. It's plenty big enough even to dry yourself off or dry your hair. You could dry your body off with this too if you wanted to take something a little bit smaller. I'll put the specs on the screen right there. But yeah, it's got a fun little pattern and I know I'll love it. I love my old one. So yeah, cool little item, pack towel. So I thought I would bring this size out. I'm a little sad I didn't bring the full size one, only because I also use that as a blanket for Ruby at night. So she has just a little bit something to sleep on top of, but I was gonna let her use the blanket that I brought. So yeah, if I need that blanket though, she might be a little chilly. I'm done with dinner and I'm just gonna relax and watch this beautiful view and watch a little bit of TV because that's what I do while I'm out here. I do have one other little piece of freebie that I got, and it's a little MSR pot scraper with a little brush. It was just easier for me to let Ruby pre-rinse it and then wash it, but I could see where something like this would be helpful or could be helpful, especially if you like cooking out on the trail. I don't cook much in a way that I would need something like this, and I kind of forgot that I had it until after I let her lick the pot clean. Maybe I'll give it a whirl tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll just keep it nice and new. I don't know. So Ruby and I watched the sun go down. Obviously the sun is still up now, but I did get the tent set up. The lean-to is behind me in that direction. And I'm just gonna watch a movie and I'm gonna go to sleep. And the last piece of new gear that I brought with me is this Nemo Pillow. Now I do have the Nemo Pillow Elite, and I also have the Nemo Pillow Deluxe. This one was sent to me by Nemo, and I typically would not bring a pillow like this backpacking just because it weighs a little bit more. It weighs, I think, around 6 or 7 ounces, something like that. But man, it is very comfortable. It's got like the foam topper and it's inflatable. So yeah, so I'm just going to sleep on this and see how I feel. It definitely is very comfortable right now. And we will see you in the morning. Good night. That's quite a view for first thing in the morning, isn't it? That was gorgeous. Ruby and I slept great. That definitely was as cold as that quilt is going to get. As long as it was strapped under me, I was okay. Ruby was a little chilly because she kept moving her position. Anyway, so I'm going to cook some breakfast and pack up my pack, and I got to decide what route I'm going to take today. Okay, we're going to start heading out. It's pretty chilly, so I'm going to wear my gloves. And yeah, I didn't really look to see how far we have to go today. I have all day. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock something. I get late starts sometimes. And we're just going to poke around the woods, basically. And I'll take you with me. Okay. Proof positive having a Garmin is a good thing. My mother just messaged me. That little beep was me messaging her back. One of my daughter's aides is not in today, and my mother is sick. So instead of taking that longer route, I'm going to take the shorter route that's flat around the lake and hike right out to the car and head home because my mother said she really doesn't feel good. So, yeah, this is why it's good to be reachable in the woods, especially if you have people kind of depending on you. There's an impressive chunk of blowdown. It probably was about 300 feet of bushwhacking to get around all these trees. A lot of them were just snapped in half. I heard there was reports of a tornado up this way. At the very least, there was damaging winds, and here's some more. So loop of the lake is completed. I feel like that definitely took longer than it should have. So now I'm just gonna hustle back out to the car. Got about 3 miles. All right, we are almost to the car. Coming up on Crane Pond. There was one piece of gear that I had with me that I sort of forgot to talk about. I didn't get to use it the way I wanted to. I'll explain. So Human Gear reached out and wanted me to try the Human Gear Go Digg Mini. It's a little trowel. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's made out of nylon, and I'll tell you the pros, and it's very comfortable in your hand. It's very lightweight. If you're somebody like me that has arthritis or you had surgery on your hand, it's a lot easier to hold that trowel, but it doesn't dig as good in the Adirondack soil. I definitely struggled to get a halfway decent hole dug. I did try it out in some more duffy soil, and it did do much better with that. So I think depending on where you're hiking, that trowel might work for you or it might not. I'm going to take it with me down to Kentucky next month and see how it does down there. Maybe a few other trips. But yeah, that was the last piece of gear that I had. I had a privy at the site, and I just didn't really think about it this morning. I am all signed out of the log. So I hope you enjoyed this video. All the products that I talked about in this video, these are kind of obviously first impressions on them. This was the first trip for all of them. I was ripping tags off in the car. So just take that with a grain of salt, but none of the vendors or manufacturers asked me to do a video or whatever. So if I want to do a follow-up review on it, I will, but nobody was expecting anything. I was very transparent with the fact that all but a couple of those items were in fact given to me free of charge. So I am very happy with that stove though. That's really nice. That is going to quickly become a favorite item of mine for sure. That I can say. As far as the longevity of it, we'll have to see. Anyway, you guys take care. It is my favorite time of year, so make sure you get out and do some hiking. The leaves are already starting to change up here in the Adirondacks, so get out there and enjoy this cool weather before it's ski season. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye. I don't really know how I could possibly have forgotten the coolest piece of free gear. It's this darn tough can koozie, and it has like this spooky scene with the Loch Ness Monster, and then Sasquatch with an alien. Cheers.